This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, nerds. I'm Mark Weber, and you're listening to A Graphic Conversation, the bi-weekly podcast where we read, discuss, and review the best, and hopefully not the worst, graphic novels. I'm joined, as I always am, by my good friend and fellow man-child, Ricky Widmer.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And for this one, we are continuing on with our tradition of reading Morning Glories.
You mean our cult classic edition?
Cult classic, yeah, definitely for us.
For AGC, I mean, it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
We read Morning Glories a lot.
And we are on volume 4, Truants.
Quattro.
So we have 3 other ones that you can go listen to. You don't have to listen to them beforehand, because the way this podcast works, we do ask that if you want to, feel free to read along and then join in our, fun extravaganza here, especially because you can tweet at us at Most Valuable Pod. Tell us all your thoughts, on the actual graphic novel we're reading. Tell Ricky why he's wrong. That's my favorite part, when people tell Ricky why he's wrong.
I'm not always wrong. I'm just usually wrong.
It's mostly when you disagree with me that you're wrong. But
because you're always right.
Exactly.
Is that it?
But you guys don't have to do that. Of course, you can just, listen for the conversation and enjoy us talking about some fantastic, sometimes not fantastic, graphic novels.
Cough, cough, peep show, cough, cough.
Ricky gave it a whopping 0 out of 5.
It was effing terrible.
So, for this one, though, like I said, Morning Glories Volume 4, Truants. This is a great one, I think, for the fact that we keep going with it, and we keep wanting to go with it.
I love Morning Glories. And
it just drags you on and on.
The reason why I love it is the reason why you hate it, Mark. Mm-hmm. They'll give you...
I don't hate it.
Well, they'll give you...
I'm frustrated.
I'll put it this way. The reason why it frustrates you and angers you, they'll give you a little bit of answers, and then they'll say... Oh, with those little bit of answers, let's open about 50 more questions.
Exactly. And this one was really good at it too. It actually gave me more answers, but also gave me quite a few more questions. So for those of you still on the fence, let me tell you a little bit about Morning Glories, Volume 4, Truants. Still reeling from the climatic events of PE, the Glories find themselves lost in time and space, confronted by a new group of students who might be even more dangerous than the faculty themselves, the Truants. Questions are answered, I would argue that fact, and new mysteries emerge, that I agree with, as Season 1 comes to a shocking end. This, of course, collecting issues 20 through 25. So, okay. The way this podcast is going to work, we have spoiler-free section. That is what we are in right now. We will warn you before we get to the spoiler mode in case you do want to read it. And let me let me get to that right now. Ricky, should people read this, and who should read this?
Well, first off, if you have read 1, 2, and 3, and I'm talking about the graphic novel editions, you got to read 4. You got to keep going. But like I always say, I mean, if you love to just get, what's the word I'm looking for? Surrounded, enveloped into a story and just kind of be taken away to another world, this is the book for you. Also, if you like people throwing out questions and then answering a few of them and then asking a ton more and not getting many answers, this is the book for you.
It is such a thriller.
Right
such
up
a
your alley.
Yeah, very much, not necessarily mystery, kind of a supernatural thriller, I guess is a good way to put it. I definitely think this one, it's fantastic. This is one of the better, there's a lot of good non-superhero comics out there. I think this is one of the better ones. I really love it. But it sticks true to taking advantage of what you can do with comics, which is going crazy, going out there and just doing the weird stuff, putting these crazy supernatural situations, bending space and time. I love it for that. Super interesting. If you like science fiction, you like weird things like that, this is totally fantastic. I definitely highly recommend it.
Also, I know you said bending time and space already, but if you like time loops,
yes,
this is for you.
And I will say, because I'm not a time loop fan, this is a
I
time
know.
loop I'm okay with.
I know. We found that out when we read Red Sun.
Yeah, I do not like the ending of Red Sun. Spoiler alert.
Superman Red Sun. That is.
Yeah, but when it comes to the whole time as a circle thing, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
That was episode 2, right? Red Sun?
Episode 2, yep, Red Sun.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is a long time ago.
Yeah, over a year ago. Over a year. We are old podcast people. But, okay, so there's not much I think we need to do as the spoiler-free section of this. I feel like we got to just get into it. Because
No, we do, because...
we're 4 volumes in. It's hard to be spoiler-free.
And there's no way to start to answer some of the questions and pick at them if we don't get spoiler mode.
Yes, so if you guys do want to read Morning Glories, Volume 4 Truants, once again...
Hit the pause button.
Yep, highly recommended. So go ahead and hit that.
We'll be here waiting. We'll be here waiting.
If you do not want that, you want to just listen and enjoy the conversation, we will be here for you. So just don't do anything. Just keep sitting there. Also remember, of course, at Most Valuable Pod. Hit us up on Twitter. All right, so let's get to it. I think we got to go from the very start, where I like to personally start. Let's talk about the thing that this kind of reminded me of. The book opens up where it's young Darabont and young Miss Hodge. We're sisters.
Which I kind of liked, because to this point, we've never seen the backstory between these two, like when they were kids.
Yeah, there was definitely some cool backstory stuff going on with this. But the thing that this whole beginning really made me think of is, what are the allegiances in this anymore? Because I thought Darabont was one side, Hodge was on the other side, and Hodge is on the side of our group, the Glories.
The Glories.
And I'm pretty convinced that's wrong now. Or maybe she just really hates the Truants. Because the way this we now have this broken up between Glories, Truants, faculty, and other people who may or may not exist. Depending on, in this issue, they pretty much don't. For some reason, only the Truants and the Glories and the faculty are still there. But yeah, we have the question with Darabont and Hodge. I don't know if they're working together. It seems now that Hodge is loyal to her dad, who I'm pretty sure is dead.
Do you think?
I'm pretty...
Or is David the dad?
That's what I was going to say. For a while, I was pretty convinced... It seems like David is the dad. Because they had that big thing where they talk about Abraham, doing whatever he did. And I always forget her name. Irina also, going out and killing... I'm pretty sure her dad. Our Hodge's dad and Darabont's dad. So I thought for a second, like, it does make sense if it's David. But I kind of feel like David was there previously. David just seems like he's always been around. Plus, we'll get to it later, but David seems like he has some type of relationship with Abraham, more specifically. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that Darabont and Hodge are both loyal to their dad, but not to each other.
I want to go even 25 years before where you are. At one of the first scenes, and this is kind of, it's the first time we get to see the beginning of Hodge, where you actually see her mother, which she's never named. She's just the lady who gives birth. It's a girl. Oh, can I hold her? No, that's not part of the deal. And who's a little kid and sticks her in the neck with a shot?
Number 9.
9. And it was weird, like, oh, thank you, 9. And she's just a creepy little girl, like, shots.
She's always been a creep, and that's just upsetting. Like, this girl has never been normal. She's just a weirdo.
And then you can tell, like, Georgina, who is Darabont, wasn't really trusting of Hodge. Was like, yeah, you know what? I don't like the. Yeah, she's my sister. I don't know. I don't know about this one.
And this is interesting here, because the reasoning that's kind of given for these are saying that at least Hodge, maybe not Darabont, but at least Hodge has a mom that had some type of ability, some special ability that they wanted, and they got rid of the mom for it. Much like for the Glories, they got rid of their parents essentially because they want the kids. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting in that case of, once again, asking the question of, what is the specific thing they want? Because they're obviously looking for it. They were looking for it with Hodge, and I'm pretty sure they've got it out of her. Darabont didn't have it as much because obviously she's jealous of Hodge.
And even fast forward, there was the scene where this like guy kind of had a young Daramount hostage, and he's like, I'm going to kill her, and you just got Hodge. He's not going to kill her.
Yeah.
And it's like, shut up. Yeah. No, you're not. You ain't going to kill her.
She's well aware, and just, I don't know if it's the intelligence. Maybe it's because of, time being in a circle. Mm-hmm. So she just knows for a fact.
She's like, you're not going to kill her.
Yeah, it was very, very strange.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so basically the two kids, they're trying to impress their dad. It's pretty given that Daramount is the one. Like, she's the winner of this. But the decision gets made, actually, it's going to be Georgina instead. Daramount's going to be, I guess, like, she's the leader of the school. Mm-hmm. Which is what you would think would be the thing that maybe makes Hodge go, well, screw this. I'm going to destroy this school. Which would make sense, but I don't think so. I just don't know. I don't know where these two.
She's just working a different angle for the Glories or whoever them, because the Truants used to be the Glories.
They were, and now they're
the Truants.
They're Abraham's people essentially. Who Abraham, we get a little bit more out of him, but not quite.
And Abraham is
Ike's dad.
Ike's dad.
Yeah. So also first to bridge the gap, we got to mention the fact that
if you're sitting there going, whoa. When did he become Ike's dad?
Oh, well, that happened in issue volume 3.
But I mean, it was more in depth, and it was kind of like, whoa, okay.
If you remember from volume 3,
we got a ton into that relationship too.
Oh yeah. This was like so much Ike.
Like when Ike kills him.
Yeah, well, because they had the moment where I'm previously, and even in the first issue or the first book, it was his mom saying, Ike, did you kill your dad? And then in issue 3, like, they bring up the fact of like, hey, Ike, your dad's still alive. Please kill him now. Mm-hmm. He didn't do it. But to speak of children killing older people, I like to bridge the gap of the thing that really just threw me for a loop with Hodge was it's Vanessa that comes. It's future Vanessa. I know, guys, this is tough. This is confusing. Future Vanessa comes back in time.
And this is at the very beginning.
Yes. To help out Miss Hodge here.
Where she had, like, slash marks in her back, right?
Yes. And basically being like, hey, you saved me. You helped me. I'm going to help you. Do you want to meet your mom? And Hodge is all like, yeah, I want to meet my mom. Uses it as a trick. They go to the same time teleportation cave that Casey went to. By the way, when I'm talking about this whole thing, I feel like I'm talking about Lost. Just because the ridiculous things that come out of your mouth, and you're like, no, it makes sense, though. But then she just kills Vanessa out of nowhere. And that's what really makes you go, what is happening? What are these allegiances? But okay, let's talk about the Truants. So the Truants are children that were first given to Abraham for some reason. Once again, the reason's not really explained. Why? I mean, the school was letting him do this. So they let him do this. He's developing these kids almost as like a rebellion situation. I want to ask you, Ricky, what do you think? Like, what is the purpose of these children for Abraham? Like, what is he trying to accomplish, do you think?
Well, I feel like, to me, what I'm feeling is he found that Georgina and a little bit of Hodge, there are special powers out there. So he's using this school, and it's all about, like, the same birthday. So it's like, okay, these kids have the same birthday. I'm trying to find the best of the best. And he wants to use them for some reason. I feel like there's a master plan afoot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wonder if he had something to do with the school in the past. Like, maybe he was even one of the people who really kind of got it started.
Kind of like Charles Xavier for for his school.
I also kind of wonder of, like, maybe he was one of those first kids that came to Daramount. Maybe he was in the school, and this is kind of his getting back at it for something. I still said in the very first one we were talking about, the very first time we talked about Morning Glories, that there's something weird that they're trying to get like a power they're trying to get out of these students. That seems obvious, right? So I guess he's trying to do the same thing. I don't know if he's good or bad. To be honest, the school is bad. But Abraham, they kind of paint it like he should be good. But the actual Truants, Irina, who's the leader of the Truants, she's going against him. She's saying Abraham doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm the leader of this group. We're
Well,
going
and
my direction.
There's always one of those characters in stories, and it kind of reminds me of the young Padawan who's like, you know what? Screw my Jedi Master. I know better than him. And then he becomes Darth Vader.
Yeah. Right.
Ooh, the Force is strong with this one.
Yeah.
That's my really bad Yoda. If you didn't catch on to that.
There's so many good quotes that we could mention. No, or it should be drop that pitch a little bit. But
the dark side, you must.
The prequel.
For the rest of the podcast, I'm gonna talk like Yoda.
Well, see you guys. But anyways, for the Truants, yeah. I mean, I don't think we need to really get into the separate characters as much.
Yeah.
Although Vanessa, when I was mentioning her before, in case you don't know who Vanessa is, she's a Truant. She's one of those group. I will say
She's the one that Hodge just took a rock and just bam right to the face.
Yeah,
Then
ruined her.
brought up to the bodyguard and said, "Hey," like kind of like a dog who kills a squirrel and then brings it up to you like, "Hey, look what I got!
I think
what
it was-
I got!
I actually wondered at
I brought
first
you a gift."
if Hodge thought that was a test, like they were testing her.
Yeah, she did.
I was wondering that, and because she
did.
does very much go like, "Hey, I passed."
Because she really wanted, like, as a
She
young
wanted
kid,
Daddy's approval.
She wanted Daddy's approval. She wanted to be the leader of the school. She wanted to be where Daramount is.
Yeah. But anyways, talk about the group. I will say Akiko and Arena.
They look.
I honestly had no idea these were two separate characters until like the last issue when, spoiler alert, Akiko is dead, and I was like, wait a minute, but she's they're two different people. I'm bad with names already, but when I made the joke to Ricky before we started recording, could they have not done me a favor and just made one of these girls blonde? And I think that would actually be doing Ricky a favor too, because Ricky loves the blondes.
I do. I love my blondes.
It's weird when I complain about too many brunettes. I love brunettes, but I'm complaining about too many of
Were
them.
they brunettes or were they black haired?
The thing is, to be completely honest, I've never completely understood when it comes to brunette what counts as brunette, dirty blonde, and black hair.
Well, black is just jet black to me. Brown is there's a hint of like. Some people say I am almost black.
No.
You're
not.
black.
Yeah,
You have black hair.
I do have black hair. Your hair is very, very brown.
It's dark. Dark brown.
I always got problems when people will talk. I'll call a blonde or I'll call a brunette a blonde, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not a blonde, I'm a brunette," and I'm like, "Your hair is blonde.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's dirty blonde. It is blonde.
Dirty blonde is kind of like there's a little brunette in there, but you can see gold.
I don't care. It is blonde." But yeah, there's only one blonde. That's not true. There's a couple other blondes.
Casey.
Yeah, but it's only Casey and
the
like,
only
Pamela.
the only redhead is I'm
Zoe.
blanking on her name, Zoe.
Yep. And we're not counting. Or actually, I'm sorry, Jade, not Zoe.
Jade, yeah.
We're not counting the guys. The guys don't count.
No, we're talking about the girls.
Yeah, the guys all look this. The
the
guys,
guys look different.
Yeah, the guys all have distinct looks.
I can tell Ike a different than June, a different than Hunter.
It's really only the Truants where I honestly, those girls all look the same to me. And even the haircut of Akiko and Arena looks so
You
similar.
have to really look at the face.
And
The
even then, it
face is
didn't
drawn,
work for me. Yeah,
The face is drawn a little bit different.
yeah. Or you can just say who's being bossy, because like I said, Arena the leader, so she's got her own plan. I don't know what essentially they're trying to accomplish. I'm trying to kind of maybe you can help me out too, Ricky, or anybody. I'm at the Mark Weber. Tweet me, just to throw Ricky out there at Ricky Widmer. But the whole plan for the Truants. So Abraham's been captured. That's been going on. The Truants, at first you assume their plan is to free him. And I think that was their plan, but Arena decided to do her own thing and kind of lead them down a different direction. So what their whole thing, I guess, is they're going to, I remember in issue one, or in podcast one for this, I mentioned this was kind of cult-like, especially because when we saw those monks previously. In this book, they officially say it's not a school, it's a monastery, which I thought was interesting. We're still going to, of course, call it Morning Glories Academy, but they officially say this is a monastery. At least the Truants do. So they're going to like break up a sacrifice.
Or is that because they believe it's a monastery?
I think the Truants don't. I think the Truants are anti. They think it's a monastery.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They do, but it's really just an academy with just cult-like beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Which is possible. So they go, like, they're going to try and separate this. Like, I really don't completely understand what they were really attempting to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were trying to just create havoc, if they're trying to get free. They really didn't accomplish anything. Akiko died.
Mm-hmm.
The plan kind of failed. They bring out David to kill Jun. Not our good Jun, the bad Jun.
Yeah.
Because there's two. But instead, he mostly kills Jun. And then also kills Akiko.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit there going, I don't understand what the plan was. They even say, because they are keeping Hunter hostage, Hunter, we need you to do this. This is the plan. After that, Hunter complains, but I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. What am I trying to do? Arena says, you will know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But he just runs away.
And then he runs into
he
older
didn't know
Jade.
what he was going to do. So, like, the whole thing with their plan, I'm sitting there going, what were they trying to accomplish? Were they just trying to get free, and this was the way they had to do it? It seemed kind of elaborate if that was how they had to get free.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what they were trying to. I don't know if you have anything to clarify for me.
This whole issue to me was just, we barely moved the story. Mm-hmm. We're still where we were at the end of PE.
It was a parallel story, essentially.
It was, to me, I feel like they could have taken 3 and 4 and just squished them together.
Mm-hmm.
Because the break at the end of the third book and this book is kind of like that, kind of like with, I remember Power Rangers. You have that good is evil or something, or the whatever, and it was a 5-part episodes of Tommy, he's the Green Ranger, loses his power, then he becomes a good guy by the end, and he's the Green Ranger. We have all of that. That's what this was. That was the break between the to be continued.
I do want to say one thing actually with that, because I do like you mentioning that, because that is completely how I felt about it too. But that's an interesting thing with like TV shows and books and stuff like that. When they do the aside episode, where it's like, hey, I call it parallel episode. I don't know if that's an actual term or not, but it's like, we're not going to make any progress. We're just going to tell you something else that's going on.
Yeah.
It always frustrates me, personally, because there's no progress being made. Mm-hmm. But it must work. I don't know. Other people must like it. People, let me know if you like it.
To me, I mean, I didn't have as much of a problem with this one as you did.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with like them doing the parallel story because it's interesting.
No, but you not as.
But I wish it was structured differently.
I should say I didn't get as frustrated with this as you did.
Yeah,
I thought it was still it was a good read. I mean, everything with, you can tell with Ike and Abraham, there is just some weird stuff going on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because we get a scene where he kills him, then we get a scene where he almost kills him again, and younger Jade's like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Please don't do this." And Abraham's just like, "You're not gonna do it."
I mean, we even have the moment where Ike, when he first kills his dad, he kills his dad. And then later on, we have like the next part of that scene where his dad comes out like immediately after he kills him, goes, "All right, clean this up. We got to get you out of here." Mm-hmm. And it's like, "No, you're dead. You're dead. You're right there.
You just died.
We're like, you are dead. You are coming back. And you are also in a prison cave where your son is about to kill you a second time." It's just like, oh, what is happening?
I'm going to say something here.
Yes.
What if, and this goes kind of back to what you're saying, maybe Abraham was a student in the academy before the Glories. What if he has the same powers that we believe Casey has?
He
might. Or that Georgina and Hodge kind of have.
The kind of, well, yeah.
Where they can cheat death. Or like Jade. Jade can jump through. Apparently there's some power to Jade that we don't really know about, because older Jade is jumping through time here.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because Jade is the one who they're like, she's useless. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing good about Jade. I don't really know. The one thing, of course, I want to add to this with Ike and Abraham, and all the time jumping around situations that's happening. So yeah, with Ike, we see him kill his dad a bunch of times, and we have all that stuff going on. But I really like what they were doing with Ike, and they did it with I think it was the last issue too. They started to kind of like give some character to Ike, and really made him humanized.
He's not really a dick.
Yeah,
that's just his mask.
Exactly, and it's funny because like from the first issue, you're like, no, I want to hate this guy. Let me hate him. Stop making me kind of care about him. So yeah, you kind of get that. It's kind of sad. He's just constantly being disappointed by his dad, to the point where like as a child, he once is literally left at like an amusement park / fair because his dad was like, "Oh, I got to go take care of these other children who are the camp kids."
Well,
who essentially the truants.
He's jealous,
and rightfully so. His dad's being a dick and leaving to go take care of other children who are not his children. Like for some reason we still don't know. I mean, maybe it's to save the world from the apocalypse. I don't know.
It could be a revolt
that would be
against the evil forces of Morning Glory Academy, MGA.
And of course, he has the classic line of, "I'm doing this to protect you." But is he protecting his son? Because now his son is in the school. And I think that
maybe that's part of the plan.
And I think that, well, I don't think it's Abraham's plan. I think that was kind of the faculty's plan of like, you know what, Abraham, we know what you're up to. And to kind of mess with you, we're going to
bring
take
your son into it. Yeah.
Yep. Now your son's involved. Have fun. And your son also hates you. So he might be willing to join our side. I don't know. Interesting questions. But I will say one thing for this. Because we got to talk about Hunter, of course. We started talking about Future Jade a little bit. But now we got to mention Hunter. So Hunter, of course, being kind of taken hostage, essentially.
After he gets shot in the leg. Well, grazed.
Yeah, he was saved from being stabbed and then shot.
And then a rifle butt to the face.
Yeah. And I love that. That is a great moment, too, of like, hey, if she wanted to kill you, she was going to kill you.
Yep.
Like, she would have done it. She would not have grazed you. There was no miss for this. She is an excellent marksman.
She's a good aim.
Yeah. I related to Hunter and empathized with him so much during this issue because he was me. He was asking questions and not being given answers, and it was frustrating him. So that's my segue here. I like a lot of the backstory we're getting. I like a lot of things we're getting answered, but this issue to me, it kind of felt like a lot of times was, hey, Ricky, what questions do you want answered? Tell me what questions you want answered.
Who's David?
Oh, hold on a second. Give me another question. Give me another question you want answered.
I don't know who the Truants are exactly.
You know what? Here, let me tell you this instead. Like that's what it was to me. It was like you want these questions.
I feel like those were the characters where the Truants were like, yeah, you know what? You keep asking these questions. I'm gonna give you this.
Yeah, and I like how
it's kind of like when you call the help service for, oh, my computer broke. Oh, well, you know what? I came up with a better explanation of this. It's like I was watching the movie The Internship this weekend. That's the one with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson where they go work at Google. And when Vince Vaughn's character was doing the help scene, where he's on the helpline, like he said, is there just like one blanket statement? I can say it could be this, and then either I shove product down their throat or I give them another hotline. That's basically what they were doing. Blanket statement, here's another hotline.
Yeah.
Blanket statement, here's another hotline.
Not my problem. And I love how multiple times they used a good line, of course, of like, oh, you wouldn't believe us if we told you. Would you mind trying?
Hunter's like, try me. At this point, I'll believe anything.
This is the man who can only ever see one time on a clock. I'm pretty sure he'll believe whatever you tell him. He's in this school. He's going to believe what you tell him. But also, the other thing I loved, this one was perfect to me, Ricky. It was, he's asking, why don't you explain this? And they're like, oh, we don't have time to explain it. As they literally just around that time are also like, we got like a mile to go. Like the place is a mile away. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you got time to explain this. It's gonna take, even if you're running. The fastest I could run a mile is like probably like 10 minutes, and that's probably not that fast. So I'll give them credit and say 6 minutes. That's probably enough time to explain some things. Some things.
Not everything, but some things.
Give me something concrete.
Give me something.
Something I'll like. But I mean, to be fair, they did give us some answers, but it's not.
It's not what you wanted.
I don't feel satisfied. I keep being given appetizers. I haven't gotten my entree yet.
Not even appetizers. You keep getting bread. You keep getting bread. You don't even get appetizers. You're getting bread with no butter.
Yeah, I was going to say, no butter with that. They're not getting you too fancy. There's promise of butter. Other tables have butter, but you do not.
Or butter, no knife. The butter's
Just grab
there.
it and smack the butter with it.
You can see the butter, but nope, you don't get no knife.
Eventually, this is going to work, right? I want to ask Ricky, of course, so just one more time. And I want some kind of prediction or idea or theory from you.
Okay.
What are the faculty trying to achieve, and what is Abraham trying to achieve?
I think that the faculty is trying to use, they know something about these powers because we've also had people in the kind of mental rooms that were like drawn on the walls and they're bald and they know something about these powers.
Talking about Megan.
And they know that there are some people that they can harness these powers from. I think Abraham learned about these and was like, I got to stop them before they take over the world. Not just the world, they take over everything because they can just go through time at will.
Time is a circle.
Here's the thing that my prediction is. Shit's going to go down.
You think this next issue is going to be big?
Well, the way I think about it is, think of The Walking Dead. At the end of the season, there's some seasons where it's like, hey, you know what? Boom, we're going to end off with a bang. This is one of those seasons where it's like, it's a cliffhanger. The last thing we see after not seeing her for the entire book, what do we see on the last slide walking out of the cave?
Casey comes
Here's
out of the
Casey,
cave.
blonde hair. Ricky loves it.
Yeah. Very Jesus-like coming out of the cave.
Yep.
She's our Jesus figure. I will say one thing, too, which I think the bigger cliffhanger is future Zoe saying to Hunter something that, to be honest, I'm not trying to brag or take credit or anything.
Future Jade.
Future Jade, yes.
Jade, not Zoe. Zoe tried to kill him and got shot.
Yeah, Zoe's dead.
Yes.
Future
You're talking
Jade.
about Future Jade.
When she comes...
You're bad with names,
I
man.
am really bad. I don't know if I got that one or not. But when
You're really bad with names.
When she is talking to Hunter, and like I said, this one I kind of saw coming, but Hunter asks, who made... Just answer me this. Who made this? And her answer is, you did. You made it. Wasn't the biggest surprise in the world, but it was a nice, yes. That is a concrete answer. Well, it's not really concrete, but it is a nice answer I can hold on to. Saying, okay, Hunter is really important. He made a lot of this stuff. I think we're going to explore more of that. I
hope so.
I think in the next book it's going to be a lot of Hunter.
I hope we get some more answers. Well, not like a ton, just maybe like one or two. I want something.
What I really want is just something really concrete that I'm like, yes, this now makes sense to me. Like this one, even if it's just like, if they just say, this is what Abraham wants. This is what he's trying to accomplish. Or the school, this is what they're trying to accomplish. I don't care what it is. I just want something where I'm like, that I do understand that one thing. Something I want to mention, I want to throw back, and then I'm going to take into one more direction, which will probably be one of the last parts of our book discussion. You remember the little cylinder thing from the first book?
Yes, the thing that blew up.
Yes. I still, every time I read this, I wonder, what is that cylinder?
And why
when is
did
it going to
blow
come
up?
back?
And why did it blow
Yeah,
up?
I'm always like, at one point, that cylinder, I'm telling you, man, it's going to come back.
David blew it up, man.
I guess.
David blew it up.
And when they got to the monastery with like the chance of, I'm like, this is it. This is my moment. The cylinder is back. And it didn't come back.
It didn't.
I was bummed out. But something that's important to know, time being a circle and all that, the Truants, like you said earlier, Ricky, they were the original Glories. So much so that we see everything happening over again. We see, instead of being flooded and drowned, they're being burnt.
Set on fire.
Yeah, they set the classroom on fire. And, of course, these being Abraham's people, Arena's basically like, no, they're not going to kill us. I'm going to walk into the fire, and that will set the fire out. I mean, I really love that strategy.
Yeah.
Of like, no, if they want to kill me, they're going to kill me right now.
And there was two-way glass.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, it's interesting in that.
Well, and it was kind of the same way of Casey when they were drowning. Like, not they're not going to do anything. It was more of a I have to take action, so I save everybody. When Jade's sitting there at the bottom saying, "Just let me die, let me die."
Casey goes,
Go away,
no.
let me die.
Yeah, that's a fun thing too. I mean, this maybe kind of shows you're playing your card a little quick here. You're showing off, and I think that was a big thing that I don't remember the guy's name. Was it
Guillermo
or Ian? Those are the two dudes of the Truants.
Ian had the glasses. Guillermo was the brown-haired boy that June likes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I forgot about the June relationship.
June and
Hisao Hisao is
the
once again we're not
the
100%
confusing name change because June is really Hisao, but he said he was June back when they're. It's confusing.
It's tough. But our June.
Yes, our June, the Glories June.
Yeah. So yeah, they had that. Okay. So yeah, he even calls her out on that of like, hey, you're being a little obvious here. Can you not do that? But we even had the moment too. Of course, where Irina's kind of flirting with that guy, being like, hey, yeah, okay, we'll do some stuff down in this basement here. And he takes her to where she sees her dead parents. She literally just laughs. Like, those aren't my parents. I know this trick. I know this game. I'm calling you out.
If I'm not mistaken, Casey wasn't that...
Casey was not.
devastated?
I think she was she was upset, if I remember correctly. She was upset.
Because that was issue 1.
Yes.
Book 1.
Well, book 1. I don't remember which issue.
Yeah, I'm talking books. I'm talking books.
So that happened very early, but I think she kind of questioned it too. I mean, they even had the moment where like one of the people, once again, I forgot whether it's which guy it is in this situation where they're saying like he's just laying in the bed and everyone's like, you have the same birthday, and he's like, I know this already. And someone else like, hey, this is weird. I call my parents and they don't say they have a son, and he's like, come on, guy. Like he just has this frustrating moment.
Wasn't
like,
that Ike?
I know this.
Wasn't that Ike?
No, it wasn't Ike. This is new.
Okay.
Yeah. This is with not new.
True.
I guess it's old with the Truants. Yeah. So yeah, that was that. Before we get to the rating, I'm gonna ask you anything we missed that you want to talk about. Then let's get into your rating, Ricky. What do you think for this book?
One last thing.
You say no, and then you throw one more thing at me.
I thought about it.
All right, yeah. What you got?
David killing June the other June Hisaya.
Hand through the head.
Hand through the head. What did you think?
I like
when
how
that happened.
I like how though
What was your reaction?
I gotta have a moment to say I like how we talk about like the confusion with the names, and then we just throw both these names out.
Well, it's the other one.
The bad
one.
one.
Yeah,
the bad one gets killed.
The one that was not a glory. What was supposed to be, but's not.
I am thrilled that happened because now there's only one of them. Because they're identical twins. There's only one now, and it's so much easier. It doesn't matter what name I call him. I'm right in this case. I am thrilled with that. Something with David.
Marking names. You just are really bad with those.
I don't like names. I'll remember the face, but not the name. I like with David and Abraham, of course, like I said, there's some kind of connection between these two, probably stronger than other connections, because they try and get David to come to Abraham, and Abraham's just like, that's not going to work. It never works. And David's coming towards him and just fades away into nothingness. So yeah, I'm cool with it. Jun can have his little moment. Our Jun, Glory Jun, can have his moment where he's upset. And the one thing I will say is it kind of the whole Truant group is splintered apart. They don't know. Everyone's upset with everybody. I mean, he's upset with I don't necessarily know if it's his boyfriend, but his love interest. He's upset at him because even his love interest is lying to him. So Ricky, what is your score? What are you giving this book?
3.5.
3.5?
Not the greatest. It was a let's push the story along. Let's answer some questions. Ask a lot more.
Yeah, I don't.
One door open or one door closes. 50 open.
You open the room and like, yes, there's all these other ones. Yeah, I like it. I gave it a 3 personally, which I mean, I don't want to give it a 3.5.
It had some action.
It's definitely
good action.
It was good. It was enjoyable. But I'm just getting frustrated.
The biggest thing that I love about these books, and I love this about why right now too that we read was. After I was done reading it, it made me want to pick up the next one.
Yeah, especially having Casey come back because the whole time I'm like, "Where's Casey? What's going on with her?"
I honestly didn't even think about her until the very end. I was like, oh,
you exist.
We didn't even talk about her.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, we already knew what she was doing during this time, I guess. But yeah, so we'll have to go and do all of that. And don't worry, folks. Our ratings on Morning Glories, we'll admit it, they're going down a little bit as it goes on. But I think we're going to get a pickup soon again.
3.5 isn't bad, though.
Oh, no, it's still good.
It's just, this is all, I want to call it filler. I want to call it kind of filler.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. It's something I think that we need. Mm-hmm. I just wish it was structured better. Basically, is what I come to.
It's like they say, you can't always get what you want. You get what you need.
Exactly.
But I will say, I can't wait for the next one we're reading.
Exactly.
The next graphic novel.
I just pulled up the description for it.
Cannot wait. I've seen the trailers. Looks amazing. The biggest news right now from when we're recording this is that the Star Wars trailer will be in this movie.
Which I love the Marvel movie. We're Age of Ultron, everybody. Yeah. I love the Marvel movies, especially the Avenger movies. I love them so much. But I'm honestly more excited about the Star Wars trailer. Assuming that I actually get to see somebody who's not just a stormtrooper, I don't know.
Or not just a rolling ball across the
sand.
Hey,
don't make fun of Soccer Ball. I love him. I'm going to get a tattoo of Soccer Ball.
R2 Soccer Ball?
Yeah, I love him. What they should do for that, just once again, nobody we know at the end, C-3PO. Holding double blasters. No, don't do that, but it would be fantastic. All right, so guys, Age of Ultron is the next one we're reading. Let me give you a description here. Humanity's time is over. Submit or perish, because the Age of Ultron has arrived. The artificial intelligence known as Ultron has fought for years to eradicate mankind, and now it has all but succeeded. The few remaining heroes are battered, broken, almost beaten, and left considering desperate measures, some more desperate than others. But when Wolverine breaks ranks and pursues his own plan to defeat Ultron, will the drastic action cause more problems than it solves? You'll find out.
It almost sounds
in 2 weeks.
It almost sounds exactly like the movie,
minus Wolverine.
Until you mention Wolverine,
and then it makes my heart break a little bit because I love the X-Men.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh man, Fox, come on, work a deal out.
Wolverine is supposed to be an Avenger.
He should be.
Could you imagine Hugh Jackman in the Avenger movies?
But here's the thing: it's now said Hugh Jackman, he's like the next Wolverine or the next X-Men movie. It's my last one.
Really?
That's what is being said.
Is it kind of like Tony Stark, where he's like, I'm done? And I mean Robert Downey Jr.
Same person.
But you say Tony Stark, where he's like, you know what? After this, I'm kind of done with the Iron Man movies.
But I think Tony... Robert Downey Jr.
He's only going to do them like, okay, I'm in Avengers, I'm in this, I'm in that.
And I think he just doesn't want to be in the suit anymore. I think it's part of it too. But Hugh Jackman was very much like, no, the last one's it. I'm done. I mean, he's been doing this since, when was the first X-Men movie? Like 2002? Like, it's been forever. That's probably not right.
Well, and he's got these standalone movies as well.
Exactly. Like, X-Men's been going on for a really long time. And Hugh Jackman's a fantastic actor that can do whatever the hell he wants. But
it's got a ridiculous workout to be Wolverine.
Yeah, really. So especially because he's an older guy. But anyways, they worked it out with Spider-Man. I wish they could have worked it out with the X-Men before Hugh leaves. It's a little sad. Not that I don't think Spider-Man's really gonna be in Age of Ultron.
I kind of find it weird that
obviously
they can use Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, but they can't their own version of Wolverine. They can't do that.
I don't know.
Aren't Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch part of the X-Men universe more than the Avenger universe?
I don't know necessarily more.
We'll talk about this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get there in 2 weeks.
We'll work on it, and you guys, of course, can join us. Hopefully, you read Age of Ultron, so you can join us and enjoy this. We are at Most Valuable Pod. Ricky is at Ricky Widmer. I am at the Mark Weber. Read it. Join us in 2 weeks when we read Age of Ultron.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast.